Yo, B Marsh Boxing back at it with another live stream, you heard. Been gone for a minute, man, but I'm back, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Been mad busy. Trying to handle some BI, but I'm back in effect, you know what I mean? And I'm actually looking forward to this weekend gonna have some good fights, man. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing on Saturday. You know what I mean? Long as I got some eats in the crib, I don't gotta step out for nothing. I'll be indoors watching all this boxing. Hold tight. Let me send these links out to social media. One sec. So as you can see, man, you see the title. You know what I mean? We got PBC Showtime putting it on for this weekend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to all these fights. You know. Let me start off with the Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios. You know what I mean? This basically like a little prediction. You know what I mean? I expect Danny Garcia to win. You know what I'm saying? But you know what do I expect in the fight? I expect a barn burner, you know what I mean? A very entertaining fight. This guy, Brandon Bam Bam Rios, is tailor made for Danny Garcia, you know what I mean? Danny Garcia, Danny Smith be having problems with, fighters who use a lot of lateral movement. You know, guys who are a little who have quicker feet than Danny Garcia, you know what I mean? You check it, and that actually frustrates him. A real pure boxer beats Danny Garcia every single time if he has the skill set and technique to overmatch what Danny Garcia brings to the table. You know what I mean? You check it, and Brandon Bam Bam Rios, man, he gonna be right there in front of the kid Danny Garcia. Believe you me. You know what I mean? You check it, Brandon Rios got a lot to prove. You know, especially at welterweight, and especially now he's on the Al Heyman PBC Showtime side. You know what I mean? He's gonna get his opportunities, even if he loses. He's gonna get his opportunities. Brandon Bam Bam Rios is a name in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Not quite yet an established name at welterweight in the division, but people gonna try to take that scalp. You know what I mean? Especially if the man Danny Garcia makes it easy work. You know? You check it. So Brandon Bam Bam Rios. You know what I mean? Who'd he fight, man? He fought, his last fight was against a guy named Aaron Herrera, you know what I'm saying? And Brandon Rios looked good against the kid, you know what I mean? The man had plenty of losses, though, but Brandon Rios scored a knockout, and that was a good debut for him on Showtime, you check it? But, you know, he's only one fight apart between this Danny Garcia fight and the way he looked against, what's his name? Timothy Bradley, you know what I mean? And Timothy Bradley washed the kid, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He gave him a thorough beat and stopped the first man to stop Brandon Rios. You check it, but I think Danny Garcia has the skill set and he got the technical skills to stop a man like the man Brandon Rios. You know what I mean? I think Danny Garcia got to try provoke the man. It's gonna be a battle of you know what I'm saying, who's gonna show a tougher chin. Both of them do have tremendous chins. You check it, but I think Danny Garcia's counterpunching ability is just gonna leave marks on this guy Brandon Rios. You know what I mean? You check it. Brandon Rios is a guy who ain't gonna move too much. He might employ a little, try to show a better boxing technique rather than just trying to stand in the pocket. But how long could he withstand or do that for? You know what I mean? He's getting training from who's his trainer, man? I think his trainer right now, if I ain't mistaken, I think it's if it ain't Robert Garcia, I think the man did change his trainer. You know what I mean? If it ain't with Robert, I think he's with Robert Garcia. You check it because I think he had even gone with the man Joel Diaz at a point in time. You know what I mean? But I think you know they're gonna try to teach the man some better techniques, not to be just a human punching bag to stand in front of Danny Garcia to make him look good. You know what I mean? But I just think ultimately, man, he just doesn't have the enough enough starch on his punches, especially at 147, to get a guy with a strong chin like Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? Seldom or do you never, almost never, you never seen the man Danny Garcia on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough. Both the guys are difficult to put on their ass, but I think Danny Garcia is just gonna win this fight. You know what I mean? He's gonna be the counter puncher in there, especially when it comes to trading. You know what I mean? Both guys are not the quickest. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the man is quick with his hand speed. What's his name? Brandon Rios or Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? So if it comes to trading, it's who hits harder. Oh yeah, I see the man boxing fan in the chat. He says, "What going B Marsh? Rios is a quitter. Easy tune-up for Danny Garcia." Yeah, I could say he probably quit against the man. What's his name? Timothy Bradley. You know what I mean? He definitely. I just think he was also not in shape for that fight. You know what I mean? And them body punches were taking a toll. And that's actually Brandon Rios' recipe. You know what I mean? That's what he likes to do. Throw them body shots. You know what I mean? You know, he'll throw a couple left hooks to the head. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely a slugger and a hooker by trade. You know what I mean? And Danny Garcia, in my opinion, is just a better hooker. You know what I mean? So you want to trade with the hooker? I'm going to take who's a better hooker. You know what I'm saying? And that's the man, Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? His left hook is one of the best in boxing. Can take out any man if he catches him clean. You know what I'm saying? I think Brandon Rios is going to feel a lot of those. You know what I mean? So, boxing fan, I do agree with you, man. I do see a stoppage. You know what I mean? Whether the man Brandon Rios quits or he takes too much punishment, I think the man Danny Garcia is going to be the second man to stop the man Brandon Rios. Probably late, you know what I mean? 10th or 11th round. He's going to get a quick stoppage, you know what I'm saying? Because he's just going to be overwhelmed with, some clean punches to the head, you know what I'm saying? To the point where the corner going to have to probably throw in the towel because, Brandon Rios is going to take a lot of accumulation and punishment, you know what I mean? Danny Garcia, I just think this guy's tailor-made for him, you know what I mean? Put guys like Lamont Peterson, Mauricio Herrera, these type of fighters, you know what I'm saying? Even Keith Thurman, these guys who have lateral movement, they beat Danny Garcia almost every single time. So that's that for that fight, you know what I mean? Boxing fans in the chat, he says Gabriel will beat Benavidez. I had him the first time. Ooh, that's a bold prediction, man. Yes, indeed, boxing fan, putting it all on the line, no hesitation. You know what I'm saying? No play in the fence. The man calling it definitely for the man Ronald Gabriel. And Ronald Gabriel definitely has more experience as far as amateur pedigree. You know what I'm saying? The man is from Romania. You check it. The man has amateur pedigree. Definitely fights over there from that Mayweather gym, so he gets good sparring. And it showed in that fight, man, with the man David Benavidez in the first fight. You know what I mean? I think the maturity and experience almost closed the gap for the man Ronald Gabriel to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I had the man, what's his name, win by 1 point, if I remember my scorecard. What's his name? David Benavidez. What's his name? I think the man Ronald Gabriel, man, he's gonna have to fight the fight of his life. You know what I'm saying? Against the. You check it. The man definitely. He showed the heart of a champion, Ronald Gabriel, you know what I'm saying? Even dropping the man Benavidez. You check it. You check it in the 12th round, you know what I mean? That was an impressive knockdown. You check it. If he hurt him any worse, man, probably the young kid wouldn't get up, you know what I mean? But I just think that the man David Benavidez, I think he's definitely learned a lot from that fight. Not everybody's going to be a pushover. You check it, or just a guy you could walk through, you know what I mean? At 19-0 with 17 KOs, the kid could blast. The kid definitely, I think, got more power than the man Ronald Gabriel. And I think he has better boxing technique, you know what I mean? Might not throw the most straight, accurate punches, you know what I'm saying? Or is a pure classic boxer. But he has that pressure mentality, you know what I mean? Where when he puts the pressure on an opponent, and he throws combinations and hooks to the body and to the head, you know what I mean? And he hits pretty hard, you know what I'm saying? And I think the man, Ronald Gabriel, man, he's going to have to fight the fight of his life, you know what I mean, at this stage of his career. I think the man is about 31, and I think Benavidez is maybe 22, 21 at least. You know what I'm saying? I know he's the youngest boxing champ in boxing, you know what I mean? And I think the man is 21. You check it. So I just think that the man, Ronald Gabriel, if he wants to win this fight, he's going to have to pace himself, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have to show better boxing skills than the man David Benavidez, you know what I mean? He's going to have to pace himself, try to steal some rounds early. You know what I'm saying? Try to take the man into deep waters. You check it. And, maybe he can gas the kid out. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what happened in the first fight. The man, down the stretch, David Benavidez, he ain't look as good. You know what I mean? The man was gassing out. And I think that if Ronald Gavril can catch him slipping, set up some traps, he could probably catch the kid, you know what I mean? But I think this young kid has learned from that experience of damn near losing that title. You know what I mean? I think that was for the vacant title, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I mean? Watching that opportunity almost slip away, especially because of that knockdown in the 12th, you know what I mean? I think the man Ronald Gavril, man, I'm sorry, David Benavidez, he escaped, he escaped with his life and the belt on the line, you know what I mean? So I think this time this kid is going to have, I think he's just a better overall boxer, you know what I mean? Although Ronald Gavril has the skills and the technique and the determination he showed from the first fight to win the fight, you know what I mean? But I just think youth is going to prevail. A second go around for the man, David Benavidez, facing the same guy that he beat clearly. You check it. Maybe not as clear as, but I thought he won the fight, no question about it. You know what I mean? That knockdown made it 114-113 on my card, you know what I mean? So I had it 7-5. So I think the man is going to win this fight again on points, you know what I mean? Might be another controversial split decision, but I think he's going to win it probably 7-5, 8-4, you know what I mean? But I think it's going to be a clear-cut decision for the man Benavidez. You check it, but it's going to be a good fight. This fight is actually on the undercard of that Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios, you know what I mean? Turns out that's going to be a good card. And the fight is in Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying? And that's Ronald Gavril's home base. So you never know, man. Maybe he might fight for the crowd, you know what I'm saying, and have a lot of motivation from the Las Vegas fan base. We shall see. But all in all, that's a good card over there on Showtime. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to it. All right, and Danny Garcia brings the house down, man, in Brooklyn, man. He holds the world record attendance for fights at the Barclays Center. You know what I mean? That's basically like his home grounds, So I think it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a live atmosphere up in there. All right, let me talk about this other fight on Fox Sports One, PBC on Fox FS1. You know what I'm saying? Very good fight right here, man. This fight right here. This fight is actually better than Brandon Rios than Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know the man Devon Alexander and what's his name, Ortiz. Victor Ortiz. This will be a good fight if it happened maybe in 2013, 2012. You know what I'm saying? Before the man, what's his name? Both guys were fighters who came from 140, you know what I mean? And the man Devon Alexander was a unified champ at 140. And he got himself a 147-pound belt, you know what I mean? So that man is a 3-time world champion, you know what I mean? And, the man Victor Ortiz, he himself been a world champion, you know what I'm saying? When he lost, when he beat, I believe it was Andre Berto, you know what I mean, for the WBC strap. You check it, and the man went and got a fight on with Floyd Mayweather. So, these two guys have been there and done that. They know what it's like to be champions and to be, major players in they respected divisions, you know what I mean? Whether it was at 140 or 147, you know what I mean? But one thing both these guys do have in common is, both of them are known to kind of check out of fights, you know what I mean? When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, both fellas would want to quit, you know what I mean? And both of them, I think this fight is going to be won basically on who's mentally stronger, you know what I mean? Because both guys in the past have shown deficiencies and weaknesses as far as being mentally strong fighters, you know what I mean? When things not going their way, these guys, they tend to capitulate, you know what I'm saying? You check it, so, Brandon Rios, I said Brandon Rios, Victor, that should have actually been a better fight, you know what I'm saying? Truth be told, Brandon Rios versus Victor Ortiz, but that's neither here nor there. I digress, The man, Devon Alexander, man, he looked good in his last fight, you know what I'm saying? On his comeback, the man had been out the ring for well over a year, you know what I'm saying? I want to say his My bad about that, man. Got a phone call while I'm doing a live stream. Um, what you call it? Devon Alexander, you know what I'm saying? I think the last time he fought before his last fight on his comeback might have been probably was it I wanna say Amir Khan, you know what I'm saying? You check it. Nah, it was actually nah, what's that kid's name? I want some money off that fight. Aaron Martinez. Yeah, Aaron Martinez, you know what I mean? And you know the man Devon Alexander was a guy who he's been in you know the guy has been using opiates, you know what I mean? The man was going through kind of depression probably after that fight with Aaron Martinez after he lost the decision. You know, he the man has been going, through, using what do you call them, man? Drawing a blank, you know what I mean? Those pills, man, you know what I'm saying? These medication pills, you know what I mean? Stuff like Xanax and, Ritalin and stuff like that, you know what I mean? What do you call that stuff? Depression pills and, you know what I'm saying? Popping pills, you know what I mean? These Xanax and, you know what I mean? Whatever you call them, man. Man, Devon Alexander was using and abusing these drugs, you know what I mean? Probably going through a depression, felt his skills had deteriorated, you know what I mean? He's losing to journeymen, gatekeepers, not even guys who are just trying to stay in the division, just guys who are brought in there to lose. And that 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 probably was the reason why, you know what I'm saying? Who knows if he was doing that before, if he was using them opiates before he had even lost to Aaron Martinez, you know what I mean? You never know. He could have been using them after he took that beating from Sean Porter. Because Lord knows that beating he got, man, when he lost his IBF strap, you know what I'm saying? That right there was where somehow you need some aspirin after the fight, you know what I mean? And you never know. That's probably where he started taking these medications, you know what I'm saying? And Vicodins and Percocets, these type of pills, you know what I mean? And he felt probably his skills had deteriorated. But when he came back and fought the Walter Castillo, a guy he should beat, Devon Alexander looked tremendous. You know what I mean? He won every single round of Mark Carty, and he even dropped the dude in round. I believe Walter Castillo got dropped in round 2, maybe round 3. I know it was early. You know what I mean? And the man showed his hand speed and willing to step on the front foot and also move around. He was just doing it all in there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this fight between him and Victor Ortiz is going to be who's mentally stronger, you know what I'm saying? Victor Ortiz can definitely crack, definitely more than the man Devon Alexander. So Devon Alexander will have to not be too brave and want to stand in there. You know how he just, ha 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 ha. He be making all them noises when he be punching. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be careful and not do that too much, you know what I mean? Because he could get caught slipping. Even Andre Berto got knocked down in his last fight with Victor Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? And he could be down on the cards early. You know what I mean? I think this fight could probably go the distance. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick the man Devon Alexander to win all points. You know what I mean? I think he's a better boxer, more disciplined. Um, Victor Ortiz is gonna have to be a dog hard in there if he wants to even have a chance of winning this fight. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he's down on the cards, you know what I mean, with a guy like Devon Alexander coming on strong, to finish you know what I'm saying, to close out rounds, you know what I mean? Victor Ortiz is going to have to show he's mentally strong and willing to, this is a crossroads fight, you know what I mean? Whoever wins this fight is probably going to be back in contender status, you know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't consider both of these guys contenders at the welterweight division right now, you know what I mean? Um, I think they're guys that a champion would just pick out, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they win this fight. Whoever wins this fight, any of the champions, whether it's Keith Thurman, um, the winner of Bud and Jeff Horn, or Errol Spence, you know what I mean, could call on the winner of whether it's Ortiz or Devon Alexander to come and try, give them an opportunity at a world title, being that they're former world champions, you know what I mean? Especially former world champions at 147, But I think Victor Ortiz, if he wants to win this fight, he's going to have to be under pressure, man. He's going to have to come put the pressure on the man Devon Alexander. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to avoid a lot of punches because Devon does throw punches in bunches. You know what I'm saying? And if he does avoid a lot of punches and probably counter punches and catches the man Devon Alexander while he's in the middle of them combinations, that's his way of winning this fight. You know what I'm saying? And probably even possibly stopping the man Devon Alexander or knocking him out. You know what I mean? But I think Devon Alexander is going to be more defensively responsible. I think he's going to move. He's going to box. When he sees opportunities to go in for the kill versus Victor Ortiz, he will, you know what I'm saying? And we'll see whether Victor Ortiz is going to want to fight back. I have a feeling he will, you know what I mean? Both of these guys really have nowhere to go if they lose this fight. And I just think it's going to be, it could turn out to be the best fight of the weekend, you know what I mean? Let alone the best fight, it could be the best fight of the weekend for sure, you know what I'm saying? And I believe it will be, you know what I mean? Two guys right now who are absolutely past their prime, but are in perfect timing to face each other if they didn't face each other in their prime, you know what I mean? While both guys have gone through a couple losses, especially losing to guys who are, contenders in the welterweight division, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It makes for a good fight, you know what I mean? And I'm not missing this fight for nothing, you know what I'm saying? Um, it's gonna be on the same Saturday night, on the PBC FS1 side, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's gonna be before or after or at the same time as the Danny Garcia fight, but best believe I'm gonna have two monitors up, two screens up, and I'm on it like Hornet, you know what I'm saying? So that's that fight, man. And I also could speak a little bit about this World Boxing Super Series fight, you know what I mean, with George Groves defending his WBA 160-pound title, you know what I mean, versus Chris Eubank Jr., I haven't been able to catch much of the press conferences, you know what I mean. I've barely been on YouTube lately, man. Been kind of busy, you know what I'm saying. You check it, but I do know it's a fight I'm not missing either, you know what I mean. Very anticipated domestic fight. I did a prediction on it, you know what I mean. You could check it out here on YouTube. It was one of my last two videos. And I just think that ultimately the guy who's gone through less battles, and that's what's his name? Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I mean? He doesn't have as much wear and tear as the man George Groves, you know what I'm saying? Do I think George Groves hits harder than Eubank? No question about it, you know what I mean? But I think Chris Eubank does have a solid chin, unlike the man George Groves, you know what I'm saying? George Groves been hit by some good punches, you check it, but don't be surprised if you do happen to see him on the canvas at some point in time, you know what I mean? Both guys have improved after their losses, you know what I'm saying? I think George Groves was just lucky enough to face a guy who was like Shudanov to win that vacant WBA title, you know what I mean? I think if it was a guy like Chris Eubank in that position, he would have done the same. You check it, or any of the formidable 168 pounders who didn't have a belt, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't really a great accomplishment. And neither is beating the man Jamie Cox, the guy who he beat and bodied with the body shot early, you know what I mean? These aren't the kind of guys who really, raise your game up on some levels, you know what I mean? Well, the man, Chris Eubank Jr., I think the fight versus Arthur Abraham and the way he comprehensively beat the man, that shows great improvement in what he was when he took that first loss to Billy Joe Saunders, when he was a wild hooking, wide punching, young dude who was just arrogant, who thought he could just walk through a boxer like Billy Joe, you know what I mean? And I think boxing technique, that also remains to be seen, you know what I mean? George Groves definitely has a good jab, if not the best jab in the division. You check it. But George Groves, Chris Eubank Jr., he's the kind of guy who slips a lot of punches, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to be firing a jab right back or straight lead right hands, you know what I mean? Which makes for a great fight, you know what I'm saying? Every single fight tonight, this weekend, is going to be fights that you can't miss, you know what I mean? I ain't watching it after the fights. I'm watching it live because this is a very good weekend of fights from the England to the UK to the United States, you know what I mean? And I'm definitely gonna tune in, you know what I mean? So yo, B Marsh Boxing, man, about to seal the deal, get up off this live stream, you know what I'm saying? Try to do a little video and combine everything that's happening this weekend rather than making individual videos, you know what I'm saying? Because a couple of fights in my opinion, like the main event of the biggest stars, whether it's Brandon Rios versus Danny Garcia, I think that fight is not really much worth of really doing a prediction for. You check it, and Ronald Gabriel, that's a good fight right there. Could go either way, but I think the younger guy will prevail, the champion David Benavidez. And DevonAlexander crossroads fight versus what's his name, Victor Ortiz. You know what I mean? Victor Ortiz, he himself looked spectacular against a nobody in his last fight. You know what I mean? So both guys are on the same trajectory as far as who they faced after their losses and what they're trying to do going forward. You know what I mean? As far as who wins the fight and what's next for them as far as bigger and better paydays. You know what I mean? And both guys know that. And that's why I think this fight is going to be a great fight, you know what I mean? Might be fight of the year candidate right here. You check it because, you know, both guys have a lot to lose and not really much to gain if they lose, you know what I'm saying? So we shall see, man. Be Marsh Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm gone. Thanks for listening. Big ups to Boxing Fan, my youth. Wagwan, my friend. Holla back, man, and I'll be back on with another live stream or more videos sooner than later. All right? Peace.